Hey, what's going on, everybody? So let's talk about the Templar and why I don't actually technically have a build to show you for the Templar. I know that sounds crazy, but I discovered that the exact same build that I went with for the Nightblade is the same build I ended up going with the Templar, except with the Templar, I was running the Templar's charge ability. But for some reason, I don't know why they did this, but they changed the charge ability with the Templar to a taunt. So you taunt with those. So my recommendation is for the Templar, once again, we're going to be running Macabre Vintage. We're going to be running Rushing Agony. But with Macabre Vintage, we're going to switch out the Macabre Vintage for Plague Break in PvP. But it referred to my Nightblade because it's almost the exact same build, except obviously the skills are different. But same champion points, same everything. Except instead of Lotus Fan, we're going to have to come up here and we're going to have to say, okay, we don't want to taunt in group content. So we can't use the charge ability in group dungeons and stuff like that because we're not trying to be a tank. So we would have to go into two-handed. We'd have to run a two-handed weapon and use the crit charge to proc Rushing Agony. Or we got to run dual wield and we got to use the hidden blade so that we can teleport into their face to once again proc the Rushing Agony. And that's why it was like I kind of just, I don't know. Once they changed the charge skill, which, yeah, you guys got the idea. Like, uh, this is what I'm running. Macabre Vintage. One piece of the trainee on the chest, Macabre Vintage belt, boots, all divines on everything, Rushing Agony shoulders, hands, and legs with Bloodthirsty, Infused, Bloodthirsty, Rush of Agony, Oaken Soul, Macabre Vintage. And then we're running a uh, axe and axe. So you could run axe and axe, or you could run a two-handed axe or two-handed sword, or two-handed maul. It doesn't really matter on the Templar. Or if you want to run ranged on the Templar for the ultimate abilities, we'll cover that before we switch over. For the ultimates, I would either use Fighters Guild's Dawnbreaker for melee, and if I'm in ranged, I'm going to use Mages Guild's Meteor. They're both fantastic ultimates. That's what I would run for Templar DPS, which is what we're trying to make. We would still run Rending Slashes, but all the rest of these are different. So let me log out, log into my. I made a makeshift Templar because honestly, I'm really bitter about the fact that they changed the Templar's charge because I had like a really good build, and um the Templar doesn't get that much attention because it's just overall just it's a very problematic class. And so anyway, for this character, puncturing strikes, both morphs of the puncturing strikes is really good, but the healing morph, you're going to get a little bit more out of it. So that's what I recommend running there. And then we're going to run two-handed or dual weapons. We'll put a skill here, but then also with dual weapons or two-handed weapons, we're going to put the charge versions of whatever that skill is on those here, so we can proc, like I said, Rush of Agony. And then we're also running Macabre Vintage. And then, like I said, Dawnbreaker or Meteor here, depending on if you chose a melee or a ranged. But you're going to most likely choose a charge ability that is from something else, because this focus charge, unfortunately, all of the morphs of this, I really wish they would have just been like, focus charge stays the same, one of the morphs of the charge stays the same, the other morph is a taunt. I really wish they had done that because it completely ruined my build, and I just became very bitter towards the build that I did. And I felt like I just didn't need the Templar anymore because I basically made a Nightblade version of the same exact Templar build, except we were just running puncturing strikes, the healing morph of it. And then Rush Ceremony, you 100% want to change that to Honor the Dead. Fantastic heal ability. And then, like I said, a charge ability from a weapon or from somewhere, charge, leap, teleport, whatever ability you need to proc Rush of Agony. And then you can do your dual wield skill, whatever one you like, whatever two-handed sword, or you can scribe a skill. Uh, um, yeah, whatever you want to do there. So that's what I would say for the Templar. I mean, unfortunately, like I said, they changed this to a taunt. I don't know why they did that. We have better taunts than the charge in this game already, so I don't really know what they were thinking here. It's kind of like the same thing with like the Warden. That's the class I'll be covering next. They changed the Warden to where every time I cast a certain skill, I can't remember off the top of my head what the skill is, but it would heal you every time you casted it. And they changed that to where it didn't heal you every time. And I didn't understand their logic on that either, because the sorcerer, they added the ability to heal yourself every time you casted the sorcerer's shield. So why did they take away the warden's ability to heal every time they cast that skill? Don't know. Don't know why they did it, but unfortunately, not a fan of the Templar myself personally, but for those of you who are, refer mostly to my Nightblade build video, and then put the skills that I mentioned earlier in there, and you're good to go. All right. Hopefully you guys found this informative. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. All right. Laters.